T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Midheaven Podcast. My name is Candice Marie, and this is my partner in crime,
the peace dealer. Welcome. It's Hermes in good Mr. Godiva form. So, I'll let you boy. I got my eggnog shake.
Happy New Year, guys. If you guys are watching this, welcome to the Thunderdome. I mean, 2022, just kidding.
You are officially in level 5 of Hunger Games.
Oh my God.
Congratulations. You have made it as the Scourge.
This is the second segment that we put together for you guys that was all about the most important transits of 2022. Hopefully you guys saw last week that we did just before the end of 2021. We are going to start off with this episode talking about the North Node conjunct Uranus in Taurus. We're also going to be discussing the return of Saturn square Uranus on and off all year. Mars in conjunction with Saturn in Aquarius. The eclipses that are kind of taking place roughly in our interpretation of the North Node and the South Node in Scorpio and Taurus. And a little bit about the Mars retrograde taking place at the end of 2022. And I guess the icing on the cake would be America's Pluto Return. So we may talk a little bit about that too as well. Yeah.
And I mean, like, Uranus for sure. I think that's been a sleeper hit because I've been so distracted with everything happening that I didn't realize how, like, in the midst of game changing and like iconic and like just like new platform changing forever, Uranus and the North Node in Taurus is going to be, and all this is preparing for Saturn and Uranus in Gemini 2030. So like, yeah, that's just like 2031 Uranus, Saturn in Gemini is like fully in. I don't even think we'll be spending physical cash. I think it's going to be all digital. So it's a whole new cycle with that. This is the completion of the 1986-87. If you were born with Saturn and Uranus in Sagittarius,
hopefully you're invested in crypto.
Yeah, y'all are the leaders of the new world coming into them. So
I think it's very interesting because it's not like we can just look at, Uranus conjunct the North Node. That's very important. We will talk about that. That's going to be happening like August of 2022. But we're still seeing the continuation of Saturn and Aquarius squaring off with Uranus and Taurus really intermittently all year. So that's not really going to change, even though the squares will not be exact. They're going to be within about a degree. So it's not even really just so much about Saturn square Uranus. We have to really break it down, right? Because what we will see, we talked a little bit about it in the last episode, is Saturn will actually square the nodes in the spring. Then we're going to see Saturn obviously and Mars conjunct, and then we will see the North Node conjunct Uranus. So there's a sequence of events that have to unfold in 2022 for us to really, truly come into the North Node conjunct Uranus in Taurus.
I love that. It's a sequence of events, and like you want to really think of it as like the jumpstart to a peculiar season in a season series that's just going to be like, I wasn't expecting this. This is a little strange. And everything is going to unfold divinely and lead into the next step that's going to, I just love that it's in Taurus. It's just like this solid grounding that if we think 2011 or 2010, where, correct me if I'm wrong, the North Node was in Scorpio, we're literally manifesting a lot of that purity. I mean, 2010, 2011, I had just moved. I was literally on the precipice of becoming the peace dealer. I had created, end of 2011, my first YouTube channel before
Pre-Magic Mike.
Pre-Magic Mike. Pre the peace dealer. I was clear sight. I was just clear sight.
California psychics.
Right, kinda, right. So like I was just reading tarot. I didn't really know who I was yet as like an astrologer and an individual, but I was open to this stuff. And like this is where you're at right now. Like you're coming at the completion of an old cycle. you have no idea, like what you're about to step into is beyond, like you have to accept that some of you are ready to operate at like $100,000 a year template, but you're stepping into a $70 million a year. You don't know what that's like. You don't. You're not operating.
That might be literal for some people too.
Seriously, right?
Especially people who are like the Pluto and Scorpio generation, who are like, fuck it, let it all burn down. I will buy all the NFTs. Right. Yeah. Or the Saturn in Aquarius people, the Uranus in Aquarius people. Obviously, you guys are young, but all the Saturn-Uranus conjunctions are like really kind of leading the way. So I guess really for me, it's, if I were to look at this, I start looking at planets ingressing into Aquarius, and I guess we can start with just maybe Mars coming into conjunction with Saturn, which is happening around about beginning of April of 2022. Now, this is interesting because you got a gangbusters of planets that are squaring the nodes. And kind of what I said in my previous episode with being like, look, this is definitely a really prominent turning point, anywhere from like March 27th through, let's say, the better part of like April 12th, that 2-week period or so, because you're going to have Mars and Saturn square the nodes. In the midst of the square, which is uncomfortable, we do see sextiles to planets in Aries, right? So what do you make of, first of all, the Saturn-Uranus squares? Like, if you were to kind of put it very simply, the fact that it's continuing into 2022, within a degree, are we seeing some of the same themes from 2021?
I love that question. Not at all. This is like the total change. This is like, I feel like 2021 really was just like the knowledge basis that's going to step us into imagining new things, new possibilities. And the thing I love the most about North Node Taurus is everything was just up in the air. There was just so much possibility and variability that with the Taurus energy, everything is going to be anchored. We're not going to be up in the air anymore. We're going to have a lot of stability. I really think, even as bad as things may be, I think it's going to be solid enough for us to move forward. And that has me excited about North Node at Aries, to be honest. But yeah, I'm biased as hell. I got Venus and Taurus. That's why I got
You're
Taurus
like,
rising.
bring it.
So it's like, yes.
Even with the squares and the oppositions, though, it's like really having to act. I feel like where 2020, 2021 was a lot of pivoting. 2022 was like, now we make the jump. Now we make the move. It's like, okay, we've been planning for this. Here we go.
Adjusting perspective. And now it's like, okay, this is what I'm ready to really ground. And this is what I know I really want.
I feel what's challenging about this, though, is that we do see when Venus is in Aquarius, it's being kind of enclosed between Saturn and Mars. And that's definitely rather uncomfortable at the end of March. Venus coming into that conjunction. Granted, it's going to start sextiling Chiron, and we're going to see planets ingress into Aries. So it's going to be really great to like start to really see some of our own personal manifestations come to light, but we need the support of other people. So I feel like so much about next year with Saturn square the nodes in Aquarius is, who are you friends with? Who do you know? Who are you networking with? How can you contribute to a group cause? Are there other people who also want to help you? We're going to see like this real focus, I think, on like networking and being able to do what's best for kind of like a group mentality. So good friends may feel like they're hard to come by next year, but there's definitely a lot of, especially for people who have a lot of Aquarius placements or like a North Node in Aquarius, really finding your tribe in 2022 and like having to make those hard-nosed decisions to align with people who are really speaking your language.
Right.
Right.
And Pisces manifests Aquarius. So like you've made these connections, most of these connections already. You're going to experience that. You're going to look at somebody who's like, okay, like this is someone who I spoke to. I wasn't expecting to. And now like they're your best friend. So like, or it could even be an enemy. But like it's more so development, growth, and interestingly enough, you know what I mean? Like you're going to hit all your goals. But Neptune is telling you, dream fucking bigger. So you're gonna get your like 100, 200,000 year goal, right? But Neptune's gonna be connecting you with people that's like, but you know you're gonna get 17 million. And like a lot of next year is going to challenge what you think is possible right off the bat, not like at the end of the year. And you have to get out your comfort zone. You have to be willing to like make the impossible dream come true and show people that it was always possible, pretty much.
Being somebody who has a lot of fixed placements in my chart, like I've got a ton of planets in Scorpio and a north and a south node in fixed signs, I feel like the way that I'm navigating this is being like, okay, I can do it now, or I can do it the hard way down the line when Pluto comes into Aquarius. So I'm really trying to kind of get myself ahead of the curve and think more about making the changes early. I also feel like I wouldn't get too freaked out about some of the fixed squares. You just want to take things 3 or 4 months at a time. Like 2022 is very much going to have this feeling of seasons. We're going to feel things come seasonally. And I don't mean weather-wise. I mean like we need to do this for 3 months before we get to this point, before we get to this point. Yep. It's got this kind of sequential order to things where it's like we can't get ahead of ourselves. We need to see how things play out. And a lot of it's dependent on other people with the aspects in Aquarius. But certainly I would say like some of the more hard-nosed decisions are probably being made from the end of March 2022 clear into mid-April. Whenever you see Saturn or Mars or Pluto create hard angles or conjunctions, there's hard decisions that need to be made, or I should say hard realignments. So I would say it's really important to look at where Aquarius is in your chart. So telling, especially because we have a bunch of planets going through Capricorn at the end of 2021, going into 2022, and a retrograde. Well, Aquarius is second to Capricorn. So when it comes to values, money, stability, security, what you can hold on to, really Aquarius season and also the Mercury retrograde that will go from Aquarius to Capricorn is going to kind of kick that off. And it reminds me of February of 2021 when we had a Mercury retrograde in Aquarius and we had Venus and Saturn and Jupiter and the sun and Mercury all in Aquarius, and then there was a retrograde.
Yeah, that's real.
And I want you guys to just think back to what was happening like February of 2021, because it's going to feel like, oh, I've done this before, I've been here. But the difference is when it squares the nodes, it's like, okay, now this is not the dress rehearsal, it's go time.
Yes, that's perfect.
This is not a drill.
That's it right there. And it's just like, it's everything that you had the idea of before, you're taking action on now. And this is
you have enough eggnog there, bud?
That taste is so good. I'm not gonna lie. It's a definitive conclusion. So like you're definitively leveling up. This is the parable of the master and the talents. 2020, the master came through and is like, here's these talents. Do some shit with it. It's coming back. What the fuck did you do with these talents? And you're gonna be like, I multiplied, and be like, okay, I'm gonna give you like double that. And this is gonna be so fulfilling. It's gonna be so powerful. And you know, with all this Aquarius cosmic energy.
So rebellious too.
It's super rebellious.
I feel like you guys should look at where Aquarius is in your chart.
Yeah.
Because the thing that you're like, oh no, I could never do that. I would say, fucking do that. Burn it down.
No, seriously. And you mentioned like the mid-April, the mid-March, April. The mid-March, April, like period, and this is coming into Jupiter and Aries. Many of you are going to
a little bit for me.
Break out the enjoy. Please enjoy. Like many of you are going to break out the matrix. And Candace, as an Aries moon, please tell me what you feel about this. But it's like, you know, if you think about the major innovations of
Christmas
the world,
in your mouth.
It is though. It really is so smooth. If you think about all the major innovations in the world, we've looked to people outside of ourselves. We've looked at the person who's gone viral out of nowhere. And it's like this new idea, this new trend moving forward is coming from you.
It's all in my 5th house, so I just want to party all the fucking time.
And that might be
and
how.
Gamble. Like that's all I want to do. And it's
it could
weird
be doing something you wouldn't think you're going to do.
2021 has been
straight up.
Has legit been like, okay, it's been that. Like I moved to Vegas. We created the podcast. It's been our like little love child that we've made, and it's grown into this thing that at first it was like, us just talking about having fun, and now it's like a thing. And now I'm like, I love doing this. This is fun. I love the way that.
Shout out to Vegas. We're gonna be having some meetups soon and some like actual astrology clubs. So
yeah, we should do that. That's something else that I've been wanting to do.
And I love that you said fun, because Jupiter is your Scorpio is 5th house in Pisces, so it really is.
Oh, I got it for another year, baby. It's just going into my 6th, so I can't drink like I used to.
She said baby too, so there we go.
No, everybody's been saying that. Everybody's been like on baby watch. Everybody's on baby watch 2021, and they're like, "Where's the baby?" I'm like, "No, bitch."
Your dog is about to have a sibling.
I got a dog. You guys might have seen that. I got a dog, and it's funny because a bunch of people were messaging me, and somebody messaged me today, and they were like, "Are you trying to like bypass having a baby by getting a dog? Like, good luck, girl. Like, I have a 3-year-old and a 3-year-old dog." I was like, "Do not tell me that. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet." But I mean, baby fever, it's like, okay, I got a puppy. I bought like 2 more years. Saturn on my North Node, though. I know, with Jupiter in my 6th, it's like you have to stop partying, but okay, in due time.
Really?
Yeah, Jupiter in my 6th for sure. When it goes, it's gonna Jupiter.
You need to stop?
Well, it's in my 6th.
Yeah.
So if I keep going the rate that I'm going,
right.
come next year, I'm never gonna get anything done. I'm just gonna be fucking drinking on a podcast with you all the time.
I actually doubt that. I feel like you're so gangster, like you're gonna be partying, and that's gonna just be your lifestyle. Like it's gonna be how you get what you want, right? Right. Oh,
yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Life is a party.
Right.
Apparently, I'm just here to have fun in this go round. So I'm kind of learning to lean more into that.
Connecting to the network and owning it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping you have a baby. Minus the child support.
If I do have a baby, it's gonna be unexpected.
I'm so excited for Mike's baby.
No one's gonna know until the baby is born.
It's gonna be a what is it, like a partner reveal?
So it's going to be a partner baby reveal, but get this, because this person might be like known, and I have to. You know how they keep it private or whatnot, which I'm not even mad about.
Are you trying to impregnate a Kardashian? What's going on? What?
Kylie's already pregnant. Never mind. Well, like butterflies. Like, but other than that, this is wild, because personally, I said I'm not even. I have my Saturn return, so I'm like Venus and Pluto on my moon. And I just realized I'm not gonna have sex before I'm married. I might engage in full foreplay, and Candace is like, sure, peace dealer.
I told you it's gonna end up one of 2 ways: complete fappery.
Oh, right.
Okay, like major fappery, or it's gonna be some like 90-day fiance situation.
She did say that.
Where you're gonna like have some girl who's gonna fucking run you, and you're gonna be like, I'm looking for my wife, and she's gonna be like, what's up, bitch? And then you guys are gonna get married.
She is gonna be like, "What's up, bitch?" She is gonna be like, "I own your shit," and I'm just gonna be like, "Yes, queen, whatever." And it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna be pussy whipped, but I might be a little pussy whipped. But it is.
But you're a Gemini that has a Taurus rising, and you have like a fixed Venus.
And I'm an inner dom in my soul.
So I feel like you can commit. It's just.
No, I can't. I really can't commit. It just has to be to the right person, and I can't because I got the Pluto in the 7th, so I can attract like manipulative, like possessive people, but I just have to make sure they're the right manipulative, possessive people, and it is gonna be Gucci.
Somebody who's really good at taxes. Yeah. Scorpio 7th house.
Scorpio, Pluto, and Juno in the 7th house.
Oh my God, maybe I'll introduce you to your future wife. Maybe it'll be me that will introduce you.
Yeah, I still remember your reading.
I mean, I'm excited to see that happen for you. I don't know. Crazier things have happened. The Taurus, Scorpio axis have definitely seen that play out in this last year.
South Node in my 7th and Venus with the North Node. Oh my gosh, I'm about to get married, guys.
But the North Node in your 1st is all like, oh, I'm showing up, I'm making money. But I think the challenge with that is really making sure that you're being super authentic and showing up in a way beyond material-wise in a relationship.
And being a player and trying to play all these women who get at me.
Women's?
It's not just gonna be women, it's gonna be some men too, and it is what it is.
Whatever. Players gotta play. Don't let them think you're easy. You just gotta.
No, and that's the thing. I'm embracing the Capricorn. It's like I'm 50 shades of dark chocolate. So I'm gonna bring you to climax, and I'm gonna make you want it, and I'm not gonna have sex with you.
I fucking can't.
I'm not gonna have sex with you. I'm just be like, well, I'm gonna just wait till I put a ring on it, and you're gonna hate me, and it is what it is. And I say that, But like, we'll see. But it is.
But Venus and Taurus will definitely do that though.
Oh,
it's like,
definitely.
That's mine. It's like very dibs. You know, like in like
yeah.
middle school when you like lick your finger and touch somebody and you're like, that's mine. Like that's Taurus energy.
Oh yeah. I've marked it.
I'm watching you like do this.
Yeah. No, but I feel like the Gemini is done, and like I'm ready to step into the Taurus, and it's just like, oh, I have a fucking
very physical.
body.
That's gonna be an interesting theme for next year. Speaking of that, so we'll speak on that. So,
but like with Uranus on the North Node, I really feel like this is just like technology breakthrough.
So look what happened with the North Node in Gemini this last year. Fact checking, multiple media sources, two different narratives. Remember, the North Node is like where we're going, but it's also mysterious and it can be like full of fucking lies.
Yeah.
Right? It's like something that you would never, it's like, whoa, is it too good to be true? Or are they telling the truth?
That's so true. South Node, Sag Square, Pisces, and Neptune, like made up shit.
So when North Node goes into Taurus and it squares Saturn and Uranus, the instability within Taurus themes, like money, is going to question the narrative of what Saturn and Aquarius is saying.
Yes.
This is best for everybody, but is it?
Especially Virgo season.
Right?
September of 2022, every single answer that we've had will be made bare. And you'll have all the details to move forward with. And this is very important because I don't want to bring up like the whole, jab debate, but there's been some serious claims made about people who are going to be like this if they take that. And so thankfully by September 2022, we'll have the stats. All the people who said that, if they're wrong, they're wrong. If they're right,
is going to be very telling when we get Jupiter away from Neptune. Even if it ingresses back into Pisces, as Jupiter fully goes into Aries, and then we're coming into what will be Saturn in Pisces in 2023. The truth is that I don't think we've seen the end of pandemics. And
there's been a lot of sensationalism and fear around like, this is going to happen and this is going to happen.
Right.
Taurus is going to ground and be like, okay, you exaggerated.
Well,
or you were right. And we're going to find out.
Taurus is also going to help us better prepare and stockpile. So things like,
but we're going to have definitive facts. Like you said this was going to happen. This did not happen.
Especially
or
in
this did happen.
May, June of 2022 during the Mercury retrograde.
Facts.
So I feel like I would wait until like June, July of 2022 to see how much trouble are we in financially with the banking system. Is this series of shutdowns, lockdowns, limitations best for us? Are we going in the right direction, like financially? Like, remember, the North Node's in Taurus, so it's about the embodiment of what we physically have.
Yeah.
So there's going to be this emphasis on what do you physically have? And then Uranus is going to show up in August and be like, hold my beer. And it's like, you don't have to physically have anything, but you could be super fucking rich having this NFT or this crypto, but you don't physically hold on to it. You can't put it in a bank, but you can put it in a digital wallet.
Right.
So really,
and you may not have to tax that, and you may still be able to spend that.
April, May, August are times to watch. I feel like the North Node conjunct Taurus, the North Node and Taurus conjunct Uranus is like digital money, automated or self-sustainable ways of growing food. So I think of like all these indoor grows where people can buy these, like, I was gonna buy one a couple months ago and my husband was like, you're fucking crazy. And I'm like, watch where the world is going. But it's like really like these things where you can like grow all of your lettuce and all of these things like indoors with these lights, or you can put them outside. But also cannabis, natural healing, investing in seeds and things that you can sprout. Anything relating to food, the body, pleasure, things that taste good, feel good. I think we're going to see the continuation of issues.
Smart food. We're going to have smart
food. Like what? Like meat made out of cockroaches? Because that's where we're going with the squares to Saturn. They're going to be like, here's this fake meat, but it's good for you. But what is it made of? It's going to be made of fucking grasshoppers. Like,
oh my God. That's interesting. And like, we had the North Node come from Scorpio to Leo. That South Node in Aquarius connected you with the collective. And the South Node Scorpio before that established what you can share. You've been building that. It's going to manifest.
Did the North Node go through Scorpio with Saturn, from what I remember correctly?
Oh, that is such a good question. So Saturn went through 2015, I think. That's a really good question. We have to look back on that. I think it did. Hold on, let me look at this. I feel like it did. And even though that was probably one of the worst periods of my life,
I feel like it was the most instrumental for helping me get my shit together. Saturn was in Sag, but it had just come out of Scorpio. Actually, no, the North Node in Scorpio and Saturn were there in 2012 and 2013.
Wait, are you serious? So Saturn
So
was in Scorpio
2012 and
since when?
2013, Saturn and the North Node were in Scorpio.
Jesus Christ.
That was the building blocks of my
That's
life right
crazy.
now.
So Saturn in the North Node was in Scorpio, and now North Node is in Taurus, Saturn is in Aquarius. This is a completion.
It reminds me a little bit of like reaping the rewards of whatever you've been working on since 2012, 2013.
And transformed in that
But
period.
also the
'cause
early
you did transform.
2000s when
Oh, yeah.
Saturn was in Taurus and Uranus was in Aquarius, and it was like the dot-com boom and like the internet happened. Like honestly,
and the Saturn returns of the 2000s is going to happen too.
I look at the transits of what's coming next year, and people ask me, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Especially people who have Pluto and Scorpio. What's going to happen? And I'm like, we're either going to hit the lottery or we're going to fucking wind up in a ditch somewhere. Like, it's literally going to be one of the two.
And so we need to talk about Pluto and Scorpio, because Pluto and Scorpio has Uranus opposite that. And so the South Node there, it's going to unlock everything that's been inhibiting and blocking you at a core psychological level. This is 83 to 95. So that's going to look like crypto going to the moon. That's going to look like you reaching a new level, but new levels have new devils. So it's going to be shocking. It's going to be hard for you to accept. You're not going to have a context because everything that you're stepping into has never been done.
I think it'll be harder for those who have natal Saturn in Aquarius.
Yes,
because
91, 92,
there's a
93.
hard T-square between
got the Pluto
Saturn
square.
and Uranus and nodes, but also...
They got the short end of the stick.
They do, but also I would say...
But they're the strongest.
From what I've seen with people who have transit Uranus in opposition to their Pluto, they either fucking wake up and they acknowledge there's trauma, there's fear, there's pain, there's setbacks, there's debt, there's death, or they go to sleep and they just keep on keeping on doing what's expected. So it's like, I feel like next year, between all the transits in Pisces and also the South Node in Scorpio, many people are going to wake up and go, I have been living a life where I'm responding to things out of the trauma of my past, what I've lost, what I didn't have, not having enough, losing somebody, not being able to pay for something, some kind of abuse, that they are realizing and unlocking, oh, I don't have to keep responding in this way.
And that's the key word, unlocking.
Yeah, literally locks.
You are unlocking the purest, yeah, especially unlock, yeah. So I mean, like, this is manifesting that pure energy. And I feel like we're gonna see this in energy systems, solar panels. I think that a lot of what we've been, I think we're gonna make obsolete, I think technology is gonna be revealed about free energy systems with this too.
I'm hoping with the North Node Uranus, I feel like that's going to be very telling.
Right, and stuff that could have been done 10 years ago, but now
and all
they've made
kinds of
enough
stuff
money
that
and they can
maybe
just
like
make
just
free
in
now.
a sense of like patents and stuff. I think about like all the Tesla stuff and like all of the future, you
Shout
know,
out to Tesla
energy
for spending $11 billion
things that
in
are going to
taxes.
come up. Oh yeah, I saw that. He was like telling off Elizabeth Warden or whatever, like what a piece of shit she is.
I had no idea this dude is a Twitter king. Like, he's talking,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know you were still alive, Bernie Sanders, like Elon. Like,
And he has the most like sixth
Yes.
grade humor ever. It's great. Like,
Yes.
yes, it's really
Yes.
it's really good.
Oh my God.
So the eclipse is in Taurus and Scorpio. So we've got those happening end of April going into May of 2022. And then we've got them happening end of October going into November of 2022.
I'm calling it right now. The eclipse in Scorpio is going to be the most significant eclipse we've had in the past 12
In
years.
the one in April?
The one in Scorpio season. It's good.
Oh, in Scorpio season.
In the past 12 years.
So let's pull up the one that's going to be in April. And then,
That one's gonna
you know,
be
the nodes
significant.
are going to be, I think, in... Here we go.
I'm gonna
so
love
we've
that
got
one. That's
one
Jupiter
at
Aries.
around 11 degrees of Aquarius.
So Jupiter is still in Pisces, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've
With
got one
Venus.
around May 1st that's going to be in Taurus around 11 degrees. And then we've got one that's going to be in Scorpio that's going to be at
Jupiter be
25.
Aries. Wow.
Now that's interesting because that's very similar to the one we had in November of 2021. So it looks like that's going to be at like 24, 25 degrees. Sextile Mars and Neptune. It's going to be in trine to Pluto. This one looks intense, but easier.
Yeah.
Right?
It's intense,
Venus
but
in Aries, though.
it's fixed, right? So you're gonna get what you get. Oh, but Venus in Aries. But I feel like but it's square Pluto. Well, lightly, but
Yeah, 14 degrees.
and then with proximity, it's gonna be on Chiron.
Yeah, it's on Chiron.
Oh my God. So I've learned that Venus Chiron is true love and synastry.
That's actually okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It might be a little hurtful, but
In transit and in synastry, yes.
in transit too. There we go. So,
but it's also having to address the wounds of past relationships
and true love of
and
yourself.
Issues. Yeah. Aries self, yeah, for sure.
Which will bring true love with any relationship. But
I feel like Venus and Aries. I mean, that's an exact conjunction. There's no talking your way out of that. It is. I'm liking the yod though between Venus and Mercury, and then the Moon South Node being the focal point. That to me seems like there is some next chapter happening for a lot of Aries, Gemini, Scorpio placements. That's like, okay, and we're moving forward. So there's some huge kind of like climax that's going to happen with some of those placements. I like the trines to Pluto. I feel like, eclipses in general, it's like things change, So like that 2-week period is specifically lots of beginnings and endings, but anybody who's got any planets between, let's say, 20 and 26 degrees of the fixed signs, watch out. Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius risings, but especially Scorpio and Taurus are going to get hit the hardest with some of these eclipses.
Oh, yeah. And Aquarius and Leo. So think of your favorite video game. This eclipse that Candace has pointed out.
I look at this and I just want to cry. I'm like, all I see is my chart.
Yo, that's
like,
wild.
Fuck. I don't
Aries.
want to think about what's going to be happening next spring, but whatever happens.
Imagine playing the sequel to your video. Imagine playing the classic Mario, and then you play the sequel that followed it up and actually was good. Like, over the 6 months from this Mars to Scorpio, you're playing the sequel of this video game that's carrying on the plot from before, but it's advanced.
That's intense.
It's more updated. You're coming into the adventure through Virgo to kind of like really, facilitate that. And it really goes a long way towards realistically applying advanced game mechanics towards a new adventure. But in a sense where you're like transcending and changing completely. So
let's look at the one that's
water
happening.
signs, you're having your revolution too.
So this one's going to be right around November 8th. Looks like that's going to be a full moon Taurus eclipse. Damn. Holy shit, look at that. Mercury, Sun.
This is after the Mars.
There will be a Cazimi, right? Or no, maybe. Well, actually maybe, because Mercury's going to move pretty fast. There may be a Cazimi right around that eclipse. That looks a little intense to me. That's a pretty fucking hard square to Saturn around mid-November.
And I really like how Jupiter is retrograded back into Pisces. So the way you want to understand that is Jupiter's entrance into Aries is you bursting through. It's Christopher Columbus discovering the Americas. Okay? Christopher Columbus discovering the Americas before he went back to England to report, and they sent back more ships.
Pre-Pocahontas?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So
just
like,
making sure. Okay.
no, it's very distinct.
Where does like Miko come in?
I want to say Virgo season, because
do you
it's
know
like
who
in
Miko
between.
is? No. He's the raccoon who eats all the biscuits.
What?
Yeah, he's the raccoon that I'm talking about. Pocahontas. He's the raccoon that eats all the biscuits.
Oh no.
Miko? Okay, never
That's
mind.
interesting.
Okay, forget it.
And Virgo 6 houses pets though.
Okay, you pulled that out of your ass.
Completely. I'm the magician.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
But like, I love it because it's just kind of very revealing.
This fucking eclipse, dude. I'm ready to block out like the first 2 weeks of November. Now that I'm looking at it, like I can't unsee this.
No, seriously.
Mercury, Sun, Venus all conjunct the South Node and in opposition to an eclipse in Taurus where the Moon and Uranus are conjunct. Square Saturn. Hello, Scorpio Solar Return 2022.
Oh my gosh, it's
Holy
exactly
balls.
opposite Uranus.
And
That's insane.
Venus is the ruler of this chart.
That's gonna be crazy.
And Venus is conjunct the Sun, so it's saying like, gotta let some stuff go. Oh my God. I'm looking at everything. Like, I just want to fast forward to 2023 because I know that next year is just going to be like, and now we're doing this like every 3 months, you know, for fixed signs. Like, and I've been hearing it all year for like Leo risings and Aquarius risings, but like Scorpio and Tauruses are really going to get their ass kicked next year.
In a good way. But
I
want you to think though, like if we take that analogy, you know what I'm saying? Like you discovered something new. That's Aries. It's a new spark. But you haven't yet reported back to where you came from. The retrograde back to Pisces is you going back and like, I just discovered some new shit. And now you're getting orders of what to do with that. 2023, we come in Jupiter Aries, Pluto Aqua, new evolution,
I mean, it
new
is
world,
all going to
that.
trine planets in Pisces.
The Scorpio
but it's
too.
going to quincunx and in conjunct Chiron.
What do you think about, oh no, that's Lilith and Vesta. And Vertex.
Where?
In Cancer. It kind of trines, but it's more asteroidal.
Well, we don't know the vertex because we don't know the exact.
Oh, true.
I haven't put the exact time, but Lilith, trine Venus, trine. I mean, like 2022 for me is like the year of the witch.
Yeah.
Right? Like it is. We got Pluto in the last degrees. It's sextiling the South Node. It's sextiling Jupiter. Like, I feel like next year is going to be the year that I'm going to like roll out like magical products and all kinds of things because it's definitely going to be well supported. But
and you kind of want to think of like results. I feel like if you're a Reiki healer, a lot of you who have invisible modalities that like aren't so easily to be scientifically quantified, you're going to be having outrageous results. You're going to be healing someone of AIDS, cancer. Doctors are going to be like, how did you get rid of this
South Node
tumor?
and Scorpio, trying the placements in Pisces, miraculous healings, suddenly miracles.
That are consistent with Taurus. It's like a new norm.
I saw today in the news, I think it was the FDA just approved like an HIV treatment.
Wow.
Like, and Venus conjunct Pluto today. It's retrograde, so we'll see how it works. But I think definitely when we think of like South Node and Scorpio is like issues relating to like blood disorders, disease, STDs, like that would
South
be
Node, Pluto,
amazing.
Scorpio, yeah.
Well, Pluto's also coming into the squares.
You have to understand though, it's like we had the cure and treatment 15 years ago, but we've made all the money that we need to make, and here you can have it now. It's like it's open source.
It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Straight up.
And what used to be a cocktail for people who could afford it now is probably going to be a one-pill solution that's covered by insurance. But we're coming out of it's the finale of what was the Saturn-Pluto conjunctions in Libra. So now it's wrapping up. Of course, now we're going to release that and let that out. But I think we're going to see a lot more in terms of drugs and pharmaceuticals relating to antivirals or anything that's going to be treatments for STDs or preventive therapies even for cancer. There's going to be more that's going to come out. I'm hoping. I mean, I'm going to be really excited. I am, but I'm not. The ingress of Saturn and Neptune going into Aries in a couple of years is going to be intense, but I think that's going to be the breakdown of like withholding treatments. Because I don't have facts behind this, but I do believe that the treatment for certain cancers are out there. The treatment for HIV is out there. The treatment for COVID is out there. We are not seeing that primarily because of profit. So until we see Saturn and Neptune move into Aries and we find that people learn more about self-healing and self-care and they have everything they need to do that, it's going to be a couple long, hard years of us still struggling with certain illnesses because they don't want to release that kind of technology or that kind of care, unfortunately. So it's going to take some time. So what do you make of the South Node in Scorpio and what that may mean? Just in general, we talked a little about the North Node in Taurus, like food, body, embodiment, what feels good, tastes good, feels good, learning how to be present, growing food. But what about South Node in Scorpio?
South Node in Scorpio is, like you said, a complete unlocking, especially for Pluto Scorpio, but like it's like a more it's using the resources of who you're dealing with, your investments, your shared resources.
Exposing your enemies.
That too, and you're manifesting, it's crypto, it's stocks, it's real estate, you're manifesting your own resources, But this is the most important thing. You asked a very good question. The South Node was in Aquarius when it was in Leo. When the South Node was in Aquarius, you came into a network that Saturn solidified. This network with South Node and Scorpio is going to be who invests in your NFT, who invests in your crypto, who invests in your business, and it's going to pipeline to where? North Node Taurus, money.
Okay, so
unconventional.
As of right now, the North Node is somewhere around 1 degree Gemini. The South Node is 1 degree Sag. But we are already seeing sextiles from Venus and also from Pluto to the North Node, which will eventually be in Taurus. Okay, great. So what does this mean? I look at what came out in the news this week and the pages upon pages upon pages of Democratic and also Republican people who pleaded guilty for child sex crimes.
Is this related to the Maxwell trial?
Yes. So I have a feeling.
Who was a Capricorn?
Yeah, that part of the South Node. Also, P.S. Go and look at, I think it's her Saturn. I don't know if it's
Saturn and Capricorn.
It's her Saturn and Capricorn, the late degrees of Capricorn. The next 3 months,
shout out to
I will
Obama.
be surprised if this woman is alive in 6 months. That's all I'm going to say. Just given that Pluto is on her Saturn in her 8th house, whatever.
I feel you, yeah.
So,
and Capricorn's not easy to pick off like that too, so that'll be some serious
South
shit.
Node and Scorpio is going to expose all the dirty bits.
No, but it really is.
It's
really
anybody
is.
who's been committing tax fraud.
Wait. I want you to say that again. Because that is the most important thing.
South Node and Scorpio is going to expose all the dirty bits. It's what it is. Scorpio is what's dirty. It's plumbing, it's crime, it's the mafia, it's people who get fucking hits on them. It's
underworld.
It's tax evasion.
Drake has mob ties, Sun Pluto. So like,
for sure,
you want to think that like, and
oh
I
my
love.
God, I'm a Sun Pluto.
Yeah, she got mob ties too.
I actually kind of do.
Yeah, you want to. You want to think that.
I do, but I mean, I don't brag about it.
No, that's hilarious. You want to think that personally, freaking everything has been discovered leading up to here. So like now this is where it's going to be revealed. And that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, like Scorpios,
Uranus
you better be on your
Saturn.
shit, dude.
Right. Maybe
I feel like
might find out people got
and
Leo,
I feel like Scorpios and
Aqua.
Leos are kind of the ones who are in the line of fire right now. Like you really need to make sure you're coming
Pluto,
correct. There's no coincidence that we're seeing a rise in heart attacks right now.
Wow. I didn't even think about that.
Okay, with Saturn and Uranus doing what they're doing. We've got angles in Aquarius. We've got angles also in Taurus. That's like a lot of people who are having heart issues or whatever. I'm not talking about the vaccine. I'm talking about heart problems. Which really is stemming from your heart not being invested or in the right place, or there being some kind of emotional blocks.
Attachment.
So I feel like, I mean, just according to the transit, Scorpio and Leo are in the line of fire. The North Node's going, into Taurus. Tauruses are fucking solid. Aquariuses are solid. Saturn has your back. It's Scorpio, Leo placements that are going to get banged up in the midst of this. Yeah, big time.
Oh, yeah. And there's no support. It's just opposition. So I think it's going to grow. I think it's going to strengthen and complete those energies, but you can't lose
What about
yourself.
trash? South Node and Scorpio, I feel, and I don't mean like trashy people. I mean,
Right.
yeah, sure, trashy people, but that's my nickname is Trash Panda. People call me Trash Panda. It's only when I like fall asleep with eyelashes and makeup on and I wake up looking like a panda, but I'm the Trash Panda. Anyway, trash, as in actual trash, not people.
Okay.
The South Node going into Scorpio, it's going to be a lot of us thinking about what do we do with trash? Do we recycle? Do we renew? Do we fix things? Do we take spare parts? Is there going to be issues with the supply chain? Does it make more sense to fix things?
New energy solutions. And I think with Scorpio, it's going to be just like nuclearly just melting.
But I think it's also going to be the Pluto and Scorpio generation going, how do I make $1 million out of a piece of trash? And
that is a fact.
Yeah, like we have
Not
so
bare
much
minimum,
trash
but
in
like
landfills.
Yo.
I wonder if we're going to start taking trash out to space.
Oh, shit.
With the squares to Saturn and also Uranus, and people coming up with ideas of what we can do with trash, and if we're gonna actually create things. Like I've been following the news the last year. Like there's like this new, what is it called? It's like a new little like bacteria that can eat plastic.
Wow.
Imagine that. Like plastic takes so long to like break down in a landfill. So does styrofoam. But if we could have some kind of bacteria that eats plastic, like,
tell me what you think about this. And it doesn't have to, it's going to sound intense. I don't think like it'll be like, if I were to tell you that, oh, Obama had an attack against Syria, that can sound serious, but it was just a drone strike. Like, yeah, there were casualties, but like nuclear warfare is South Node Scorpio. Nuclear energy, it might not be as devastating as you would think, but we're going to have either some innovative nuclear, like there could be a new type of bomb that's created, or
North Node Uranus for sure with that, for sure.
A revivification of the Cold War with Russia and Ukraine, Taiwan,
and then all
China,
this stuff talking about how China and Russia are going to start linking up and having meetings.
That is a thing. They are already doing it.
Right
like
now.
It's a thing.
But
India is coming up. Like
Saturn
it's a thing.
square Uranus. What if that's like specific or certain governments orchestrating social distancing in order to shut down and silence and quiet people, to keep from there being an uprising and a revolution, or to keep from certain nations actually meeting. Like that's the other thing that makes me wonder. Like Saturn is going to be the one that's going to go, no, I'm not going to let this happen. So if anybody gets the impression that there's about to be World War III or certain nuclear devastation, they're going to just lock everything down. They're going to lock down borders. They're going to lock down the internet.
And so here's the most important part. Uranus is so unpredictable. We may have to deal with like an unexpected event that, depending on how people respond to, like, you remember how like there was a sub event where we could have gone to war with Russia if that one person on the U-boat didn't go forward with that. And like, I think there's going to be like an unexpected skirmish that might be interpreted wrong. And by the time people know what happens, it's too late. And I hate saying this because in a really odd twist of fate, just like we could have a nuclear holocaust, we could really step into a utopian world peace in a conditional or unconditional way. So like it still is, like the last degrees of North Node in Gemini is the variables that can go either way. So I mean, it's just definitely going to be super interesting.
Well, it's literally right now. I mean, the other thing I would say is looking at the astrology of the end of July 2022 going into August of 2022, when the North Node meets with Uranus, it's going to happen over a period of a couple days when Mars joins the group. So something about the end of the end of July into early August is like literally explosive. And then it's going to come into a square with Saturn. So it's like the oh shit button is being hit in early August.
And world events that trigger, and that's what I appreciated about 2020, because that was the first advent of a world event that everyone around the world had an opinion on. And so we're going to come back to that, and people arguing about how we respond to some shit that we couldn't see coming. And people will have all sorts of Pisces different perspectives on. And I mean, here's the deal. After Jupiter and Pisces, Jupiter going to Aries, Uranus will be ready to go into Gemini, and Neptune will be ready to go with Saturn into Aries. That's civil war energy for at least America. So like, you want to embrace it. I feel like coming back around, this is going to be more innovative, but you have to be willing to adapt. And this year is going to be the huge transition adaptation.
You have to. There's no more just pivoting. It's like you have to commit and jump on board, and you're going to have to pick a lane.
And as you commit, you're not going to know exactly at first what's going to happen until it's in Aries. You get an idea. You have the vision. So you have to make it real and just kind of have faith.
So to wrap, also, I mean, we don't have enough time to even get into this. It is America's Pluto return.
Right.
Maybe we'll do another video on this. I think it's a good idea. I have one on my channel if you want to check it out, but I'm sure we will do this probably this. I'm going to add this to the
closer
queue.
to the Pluto return.
So as we get to early January, we'll do a whole thing on the Pluto return, but that's really important because it's happening in America's second house, and it's going to be a hot topic from really December through March in regards to our spending.
That's digital currency.
They're trying to lock that shit.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what happens. It's trining Uranus, but I mean, it's all in the second house of how much control they have, not just of finances, but of the physical body.
Oh yeah, that
The second
too.
house is the body.
Smart drugs and nootropics, NZT, all of that. And the coolest thing about this is we have to think that the America's Pluto return affects every other country, because when America had its Pluto return, France already had its revolution.
And it was...
We had the Napoleonic Wars.
bloody.
It was very bloody.
Yeah.
And so we were coming out of monarchies and stepping into democracies.
France
so
had
we're
our
coming
back
around.
though when we...
France did, yeah.
France had
France
our
was
back,
spreading
and
the
vice
democracy
versa.
throughout the rest of Europe.
Yeah, well, we had to go and sell that shit to parts of Europe. We had to be like, hey, this
Absolutely.
America thing, it's a real
Louisiana
thing.
Purchase,
Yeah.
all that. And so everything that affects the Pluto return is going to affect the rest of all the countries, the economy, and like it's going to be happening. But here's the thing. We're not going to come into awareness of what really happened until 2023. When it's like,
It's going to take
shit.
time. There's a couple
Right.
of passes at Pluto, so it's just really kind of heating up.
Like, you know how the war ended and people didn't know the war really
Yeah.
ended until it's going to be kind of be like that. So
Yeah.
it's going to be
But it's
exhilarating.
also mirroring the same transits that we had, well, we had slavery. And so I think what's
Right,
interesting is
right.
that it's interesting that in, political talks, we're talking about like, how we would go about making that right and giving back to
Reparations?
reparations
Right.
to African Americans,
Descendants of chattel slavery.
but also it's bloodshed and what we've taken from the land, second house. So it's also Native Americans and our involvement in war and other things, and how that's
Yeah.
really impacted our karma, and now how those voices of the dead are like rising up and they have something to say, or our forefathers have something to say. So we will do an episode on that.
Yeah.
The finale is, and I'm so excited to talk about this, so I want to cram it into the end of this episode. Fucking Mars retrograde in Gemini. Hi, square Neptune. Hello.
The resurrection of the host.
I can't wait for all the
your
fucking
whole
twin
face.
flame people to be like, and the divine masculine is coming back for you. Because
Yeah. That's what happened last time.
well, Venus
Was it
retrograde.
2013 when Mars was doing it?
Was it?
No, it was
Gemini?
Venus. That was Venus.
Venus went retrograde in Gemini last summer in 2020.
Last summer too, yeah.
And what's most interesting for me is that this is a very long period to have Mars in Gemini. It will be several Mars returns for America in their 7th house.
Remember, Mars went retrograde last in Aries. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's in Gemini. So what you started 2020, now you're communicating the idea of,
Oh my God.
yeah. It's gonna be ratchet. You're gonna see people in high positions of power talking ratchet to each
But
other.
it's squaring
It's gonna be amazing.
Neptune. It's going to square Neptune. I guess the
Yes.
positive side is that in the midst of the Mars retrograde, it will trine Saturn.
Could you imagine if Putin tweeted Biden like, fuck you, bitch? Like, it's gonna be
That's
ratchet.
some shit Mars and Gemini would do.
It's going to be
That's
ratchet.
some
It's
shit,
gonna be
especially in
amazing.
America's 7th
You're right.
house.
You're
I'm
right.
waiting for Trump's comeback because he's going to
Yes!
everybody. Yes! I feel like Gemini.
Speaker of the House.
Gemini placements
He
are
will
going to come
murk
back with a
Pelosi, I'm
vengeance,
telling
like
you.
hardcore.
Yay, what's up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, so there's going to be several Mars retrogrades or Mars returns for America's Mars. We'll talk about that when we do their chart. But Mars going retrograde in Gemini, square Neptune, in a trine to Saturn. I mean, this is going to be a pretty long period. So Mars enters at the end of August. It turns retrograde sometime at the end of October, and it drops back down to 8 degrees. So from the end of August through January, it's in shadow, and then it doesn't really fully leave
Right.
until March. August through March, Mars in Gemini? Holy shit.
Leo season through Pisces season.
I mean, that's a lot. The squares to
really
Neptune is like, are we doing this? Are we not doing this? But I like the trines to Saturn.
So we're reevaluating the enlightened actions we take as we go from analysis in Virgo to manifesting the dream in Pisces. This is a total perspective shift. What this means is the Mars retrograde is you going this way and you're making a 180 and you're going this way.
Well, Mars
for a
in
right
Gemini is
reason.
very versatile, so
Yeah,
it
true.
has the ability to
Adaptability.
kind of go back and forth. But
Yeah.
Mars in Gemini is like walk the walk, talk the talk, like in all regards. So it has the ability to do both.
Yeah.
I'm also liking that in the midst of the retrograde, It's still in a sextile to Jupiter.
Ooh.
So it's building off of this energy that come the beginning of 2023 is like, fuck it, we're doing this. This is happening. So you guys may even want to watch what's going on when Jupiter's in Aries, because it's going to be sextiling really more or less from about the beginning of January of 2023 on.
What that looks like is, okay, I've been spending all my US currencies. Now I have metaverse money. So it's like, oh shit, like now I have to spend money totally different. Right.
So there's
stabilization.
There is some sense of money there.
And a cloud in Aquarius.
Keep in mind also it's
intellectual
reactivating eclipse points, because we had eclipses that were in Aries, in Gemini and Sag. So it's bringing up some of the stuff you've been working on since the end of 2020.
Okay, tell me what you think about, because Mars is in Sagittarius right now. So that retrograde
this is the midway point right now. It's in the preparation
it's going to complete
period.
That so it's like the vision we're acting off on now will be true then.
I think ultimately, even with the squares to Neptune, it's in a trine to Saturn. So it's really reinforcing the Saturn work, which is like, what's the plan? Where are we going? And then 2023 is orchestrating it. So fuck. I mean, I'm excited for that because I feel like it's definitely going to get things moving and shaking. But at the same time, I feel like the energy of 2023 is like, we're not just talking about it, we're doing it. And 2022 seems still going through the motions of trying to clear things out and break down old systems that aren't working to facilitate that and make it work.
Don't be in a rush to rush anything 2022, because 2022 is adjusting the perspective of the new cycle you're going to take action on 2023. So like you're going to think you know what you're going to do 2023, but like what you're going into 22 will change completely. And let me just give you perspective. You're gonna think 2023, I'm going to spend this much money and I'm gonna do this, but after 2022, you have way much more money than you expected. So you're gonna do way much more than you could have ever planned and calculated. So
I received that. I received that.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Or just like a better perspective.
Or just a fuckload of crypto.
It's gonna be a fuckload of crypto, straight up.
America's stuff is going clear on. The good news is I think in the end, America will come out and they'll be fine. But I mean, a lot of things economically are still gonna ebb and flow and tumble clear until 2026, maybe 2027.
And
so
truly 2030, Saturn, Uranus, Gemini, but you're really on point. 2027, 2026, Uranus goes into Gemini. Mm-hmm. And like it starts to come online.
Yeah.
And we have augmented reality glasses that like with virtual reality.
I'm already thinking about that. I'm like, is there somewhere where I can set up like a digital like metaverse like meeting room where I can do a reading like that, like in that form? Like I'm already my personal opinions are I really am quite terrified of the metaverse because I feel like it's going to take away from the human experience, and I don't want to live a life where I'm not experiencing things very physically.
Right.
But at the same time, I know that we have to adapt in order to be able to keep doing what we're doing. And, I just think especially just being astrologers, part of the Saturn Uranus square makes me wonder at some point down the road, are they going to try to regulate astrology?
Oh, absolutely.
So there's some sense of me being like, well, I got to get with the times to keep doing what I'm doing.
And everything she said was analogous of there being no Virgo, but Pisces. We're going into the virtual reality. Like imagine if you have no luck getting a real job, but you go into a metaverse world and you have millions there. You don't have any real currency, but you have millions there. You can actually live rich there. You can actually have success there.
It scares me though, like about a dystopian future where it's like you take off your metaverse goggles or your Oculus set and you're living in a fucking studio apartment.
Ready Player One.
Like roaches everywhere.
But in the metaverse, you're like Drake. You're like the richest, or like you're the most popular. You know what I'm saying?
Shoes and this, that, and the other.
Right.
I don't know.
And that's realer than this real.
I don't want to miss what's going on, which is why I'm willing to invest in it and make those changes. But part of me is like, fuck it. I just want to like go and buy a land and like grow my own potatoes. I don't know. I go back and forth. It's going to take me some time to figure that out.
And I think I like that about Uranus in Taurus and North Node in Taurus, because even though there's so much land being bought out by billionaires and the government, I feel like this is going to be a revolution in people farming their own crops, really coming back into autonomy.
Are they going to
even
do it
if
with
it's
Oculus
small.
that's on?
Even if it's small, it could even be like a balance of it. It's like you have your own real space, but then you have the virtual reality. You kind of like mix both. But I think that's going to also be the divide. You're going to have like, because remember, the whole notion of internet cafes and people spending time on computers over much, it's already set the precedence of what they're going to do for virtual reality. So these things may not even be so bad as much as it's just new level, new problems. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I think this is definitely very revealing.
A lot of food for thought on this
For
one.
real, yeah. And 2022 is just going to be very miraculous. It's going to be terrifying, but in the best of ways. And it's going to prepare you for the beginning of the literal end of the world. And if you want context of that, around this period, a bunch of colonists in this territory said that I don't want to be taxed without being represented. And now we can drink booze and we can fucking be free in this land of the free, conditionally, you know, regardless of what you believe. And we're coming back around to a whole nother revolution. And it's going to be so real 2022 that will take action 2023. And so congratulations in advance.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens. Let us know what your favorite aspects are of 2022. How is it affecting you? What are you looking forward to? What do you see coming? Thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing, and supporting the channel. It makes it possible for us to keep doing what we're doing. Happy New Year to all of you guys. Happy 2022. We look forward to hopefully another year on the Midheaven Pod. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you soon.